Hello, Ragul. How are you doing today?
Good.
Great.
And
And so, what is the title of the story that we're going to be reading today that you just finished?
it says, "Can I pet your werewolves of the werewolves by Ragul?"
Okay, so why did you choose this picture for the title of your story of the werewolves?
Well, that's because it's a very then there's a tree where I got the story about three werewolves. But since this had so many, it felt like a werewolf family.
Mm-hmm. A werewolf family. So, is the story about a family of werewolves?
No, they don't have mummies or daddies, but they are brothers and they are two boys and one girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that it's like the three little pigs. The boy is the oldest, the girl is the middle, and the youngest is also a boy.
Mm.
Or that young.
Okay.
Just
And
like
so,
three little pigs.
Mm-hmm. Great. So I just wanted to ask, are these werewolves scary?
No. Some
No.
are fuzzy wuzzy.
Okay, they're very fuzzy and furry. So let's get straight to the story. So I want you to read. We'll stop and talk about the story a little bit, but again, I want you to read this story that you wrote. Go ahead and start it. Are you ready? Go ahead, Ragul. One day there were
three werewolves that were hunting wolf for dinner when lightning struck them. Then they turned into humans for just a moment, and they returned to being kids, but they were still the werewolves inside. One of the werewolves said, "I think it's rather good that we turned into kids." Another werewolf said, "Where should we live now that we are different from others?" The third werewolf said, and answered, "Let's find ourselves a good home." So the youngest werewolf said, "How about we live underground?" So the middle said, "That's a great idea." Then they dug and went underground. Then they made themselves a home like real werewolves.
Okay, so in this story, so they're werewolves, they're wolves that become humans. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. But they still want to live like wolves.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue.
Then they got some stuff inside, such as toys and a television. The youngest of the werewolves said, "I think something is missing." Another replied, "What is missing?" "Where are we going to sleep?" asked another. Then what? The oldest said, "Let's go get a bed." Youngest said, "What about having separate rooms?" The middle said, "That's a great idea. I'll start digging 3 holes." The oldest said to the youngest, "Come with me to help me carry the bed." So they found a very large bed. One of them said, "Let's go get it." Okay, only two of them went to carry the bed.
Okay, and so what is this saying about the bed? Is the bed, um, what's the trouble with the bed here?
The bed?
Yeah.
They need to, since for example, if I didn't have a bed, my father didn't have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have to sleep in one bed.
Mm-hmm.
But then it'll be uncomfortable, right? So they're getting 3 beds, so I'll not feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a big bed might be a little bit over giant.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so, well, first of all, why do they need beds? I mean, werewolves don't normally sleep in beds, do they?
No, but since now that they're like kids, that they have to sleep in beds.
I see. Okay, well, let's continue here. They brought out 2 beds.
They brought out 2 beds, and they all went to a rich man's home to get a bed. So the rich man was brushing his teeth. Then they saw the golden bed. They argued about who should have it. So the rich man overheard them arguing and said quietly to himself, "I think maybe I should capture these werewolves and show them to the mayor." This way, this way I will get a lot of money in silver coins. So he came outside and captured a tree werewolf by using a long, very long cage. Two of the werewolves cried, while the oldest said, "Let's make a wolf ladder to make the lock up." So they did as the oldest said and got on to each other's back, shoulders, and broke the lock using their claws.
Okay. And so here, why did they go to this rich man's home? I mean, why not just normal home to get a third bed? Why did they go to his house?
What?
Why did they go to the rich man's house to begin with? Why not just go to a normal guy's house? Why a rich man's house?
Because they could the other houses were locked and the windows were shut. So that only the rich man's house were there. And they saw the gold bin and argued. And this is why we don't want to grow up. We don't want to be a rich man. I'll be very greedy then.
Okay. All right. And so here it mentions claws. That's the very last word, claws. So do they turn into wolves at some point, or are they humans, or maybe half humans, half wolves? What's the situation?
No. The kid, those kids, they're actually werewolves. They have claws, even though if they're kids. And one of them has purple hair, the other one has blue and some white. The other one, the middle one has red or pink, I guess.
Okay.
And the youngest, he has very long hair that came up to his eyes.
Wow.
He can't even see.
Interesting. So, and also, what's special about this golden bed? It doesn't really give a lot of detail here. What's special about the golden bed?
That the golden bed is special because when you sleep in it, when you sleep in it and wake up, it'll make breakfast for you. Since it's an automatic bread. If you're tired, it'll just make breakfast for you. I can make anything like pizza, burger, anything.
Okay, so that is quite unique. All right, let's continue. So as they were leaving, let's continue. As they were leaving. Hello?
Yes.
As they were leaving. So let's continue the story. As they were leaving.
As they were leaving, they heard the rich man say, "I am going to sell them to the mayor." The oldest werewolf said, "Maybe we should tie up the rich man, even though he can't capture us again. We might tell the mayor who might catch us." So when they went inside the rich man's house, they decided to break everything in there. When they were done, they saw a little square hole and entered it. When the youngest entered the hole, the rich man woke up and to find the mess and the werewolf. He grabbed the youngest's legs, who said, "Help me." The other two werewolves helped him, and then the man let go of his legs. One of the werewolves called the police.
Good. All right. So what's the rich man trying to do here? What's his intention? What is he trying to do?
He's trying to get the youngest werewolf. So I think I wanted to put this in the story, but maybe just be creative. So I think he's going to get I think he thought maybe if he at least got one werewolf, the mayor will reward him with a lot of silver, bronze, and golden coins, and give him medals and be famous.
Okay. And so you talk about the silver coins. And then so let's see if they get away. What's going to happen now?
When the police arrived, they took the rich man, and the rich man replied, "Wait, no, don't take me away. It's the werewolves, not me." The werewolves said to each other, "I wish we were back to being wolves." And then suddenly they were in the forest and turned back into wolves. Then they all said, "We are finally back to being wolves." They were happy to be wolves, and they have been able to get their own den. The rich man eventually decided to become a police officer to protect everyone. The wolves learned that you must be brave and you mustn't argue no matter what.
Oh, so why were they so happy to be wolves? I mean, is it that hard being a
Because when
human?
they figured out being human werewolves were hard, they decided to be wolves again and take care of each other.
Okay.
I think
Mhm.
I think that wolf pups now.
Okay. So what's the moral to the story? I mean, what can we take away from the story? What's the moral? What can we learn from the story here?
That you must learn that you must be brave and you mustn't argue no matter what. And for example, if in a superhero movie there was an enemy,
Mhm.
if he was stuck somewhere and the superman said, and the hero said, we must work together. So if even though and sometimes even the enemy could agree. So they agreed and helped each other and get it out. But they are still enemies.
Interesting. All right. And so, all right. So anything else you want to say about the story before we close this session?
Yeah. I was also going to say that I was going to say that wait, what is it? I was going to say that when they were wolves, I think that when they were wolves, they must have made it a witch in their brains. And do you know that wolves are the dog's cousins?
No, well, yeah, they're related dogs. That's correct.
Yeah, but they're much bigger than dogs. And there's also jackals who are very small, and dogs are even bigger than jackals.
Okay, yeah, jackals are kind of like hyenas, I think. They're scavengers. I think that's the situation. They scavenge.
Yeah.
All right, well, very good. Thank you very much, Ragul. Let's go back to our title page. So here we have a bunch of werewolves, kind of cute. Okay, thank you very much. Again, we're going to have another story. What's the story that's going to come up next? Can you give us a preview? What's the next story? Again, Bumblebee. You mentioned Bumblebee and the what? What's our next story going to be? I think it's Bumblebee and the Autobots. Is that correct? Okay, well, anyway, thank you very much, Ragul. Have a good one.